nerves, lame play calling, Matt Patricia masterclass. Hello. Here's Sark's take. Take a listen.
Rhythm in the passing game was one of them today, and they've got an excellent secondary. You know, if there's a strength on their team, you know, granted the receivers are really good, but they've got an excellent secondary, and they've got a good scheme, and they've got a very smart secondary, and so they made Arch work.
Okay, Coach, here were Arch's numbers: 17 for 30, 170 passing yards, 1 for 5 on intermediate throws, and just missed a couple of easy ones. What was your number one reason for Arch's struggles?
Well, you talked about Matt Patricia a little bit, and I think that for him it was the best case scenario. So going from pro football to college football, there's so many things that you don't deal with in pro football that you deal with in college football, whether it's, you know, some of the exotic quarterback-driven runs or gadget plays, just stuff that you don't see very often in the pro game. So for him to go and face Arch Manning, who is a much more traditional pro-type passer,
that's interesting.
I thought that was as good a situation for Matt as there could be. So now he could disguise the coverages, he could, you know, disguise the blitzes, and Arch, he's going to sit there and try to diagnose what it is. And there wasn't a lot of shifting and motioning, similar to the way Peyton liked things, and to some degree Eli, because they want to assess what the defense is and go to the right spot. So I thought that really played well for Matt. In fairness to Arch as well, this is the first start that he's had.
Yep.
You're going to Ohio State, which is, I mean, playing there as loud as it is for your first start, and then playing the defending champions, just like we're talking about with the Eagles, there's an emotional component to that as well for Ohio State. So it's a lot to ask for a young player. I know people are saying, oh, the hype train's over, it's over for Texas. It's the first game against the defending national champions in about as hostile environment as you can get. I would say don't sell your Texas stock right now.
I agree with that, and it's not that I think the hype train's over. It's that I thought the hype train was overdriven going into the game.
Way too overdriven.
And Arch Manning, there are a lot of things to like, but the biggest thing to like is the pedigree. And by the way, that's not nothing. Like, I care about that in sports. I care about literal athletic DNA. I care about the fact that he has been around football his whole life. So I'm not acting like that's meaningless. But for a player who you look at some of these guys who are #1 kids in their class at their high school numbers, it's like, oh, he threw for 8,000 yards and 75 touchdowns over his last 2 years. That wasn't Arch. And then a lot of these guys, it's like, oh, okay, he's a 19-year-old true freshman who might win the starting job immediately. Arch is the same year as Caleb Downs, who has been starting and making impact plays for 3 years now. That wasn't Arch. And then you add to it, his limited experience in college was all at home against overmatched opponents. I just thought all week when we were talking about the game that people that thought Arch Manning was going to walk in and light things up were being unrealistic. So, yes, I think Patricia did a great job. But I also think that I don't think this game would have looked that different if Matt Patricia was still in the NFL. If it was that Ohio State personnel with just regular, you know what I mean, just typical Ohio State coaching in that building for this kid's first career road start, it was going to be a tough ask. And, Brew, I thought you saw from the first play of the game was not because of Matt Patricia.
Right.
And the first play of the game, Arch Manning, by 5 yards, short arm to throw, he makes his every day.
Guys,
you know what I mean? And so, like, that to me, and it's one play, I understand. But there were a few other times where
threw behind the receiver.
Yeah, and it also looked like,
game.
and listen, I'm not a quarterback mechanics expert, obviously, but sometimes they showed like the end zone camera of a throw, and it's like that kind of looked weird. You know what I mean? Like that, it just looked like it was a lot for him, which is, I think, totally reasonable, but not that surprising, bro.
We talked last week about his press conference, and he was asked about the pressure and the hype and everything. And he said, well, it's all the Texas players. Like, it's what he put it on the team, which I thought made sense. But rather than being a smart way to deflect it and I'm putting it on the team, not just me, maybe it was him trying to get away from the hype so much, because you're right. Like, I think Patricia had him seeing ghosts toward the end of the game, or the second half of the game, the last 3 quarters, whatever you want to say. But that first pass, that wasn't seeing ghosts. That was just, you know, you're nervous. Yeah. And then Coach, like, look, he was off target on, depending on the different stats you look at, 38% of his passes. And I thought, Coach, as well as Ohio State played, as good as they are, I think they're the best team in the country, I think Texas could have won if Arch had been on target. Like, they had a chance as it was, and I had some tape earlier. In the fourth quarter, I mean, here they are about to score. This is 3rd and 3, I think. Like, the guy's right there, has a first down, and he just throws it at his feet. And that was like 8 minutes left in the game.
And they got 0 points that drive.
Right. At that point, they didn't have a touchdown. They were down 14-0. And then with 2 minutes left, after they do score, they're down 14-7. They have a real chance to march. He misses this guy, again, pretty wide open, overthrows him. And then 2nd and 5, 3rd and 5 right here, wide open. That's going to be a first down.
The 3rd down one.
And this one, yeah, I mean, the guy actually had room to run. This is similar to the opening pass of the game in that, like, how do you miss that throw? That's got to be nerves or something. So I'm not writing him off either, but I think.
Yeah, those plays that you showed are really disappointing.
Oh,
those are layups that you miss, and he's made those, what, thousands and thousands of times, and now in this moment he couldn't connect.
Can I say something real quick before you go? I'm certainly not writing him off as one day being a great collegiate player or even being the #1 pick like people expect, all those things. I am close to saying he's not going to win the Heisman. Like, I think this game, first of all, I'm talking about this year. I'm not saying ever.
Right.
But, like, this game hurts him. And there was enough concerning moments in this game that make me think it's unlikely he's about to rip off 10 of the next 11 A-plus. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the Nussmeier and Klubnik, they didn't put up huge numbers. So
yeah, but I just thought, and that's fair. And we don't know who's going to, you know, when Burrow won it, nobody saw it going into that year. So there could be
this kid from South
a surprising one.
What was he? So he's tied for 7th now. What was he earlier?
He was a favorite.
He was a favorite. He went from favorite to 7th.
I mean, he was it was a big drop.
He's got to really be.
But that's what I thought was unfair to him. That's kind of my point.
That
like, I thought it was unfair that he was the Heisman favorite because did I expect him to score 7 points? No. But I thought they were going to start their season with a loss that he kind of had a tough game in, and then so I didn't think he should have been the Heisman favorite.
Quick question before we go to quarterbacks under 25. Coach, there was a point in the game where Joel Klatt was like, in the second half, Joel Klatt was like, oh, that looks different. That he felt like he was looking for something different out of Texas's offense. And I just compared what you can see without like really grinding tape. We got to stay late tonight, by the way. Look at all the college football. Versus like what Florida State was doing at Alabama. And they were doing like wacky stuff where like the offensive line was frozen and they were doing like these fake plays. Was any of it too much of a professional setting for Arch? Like, all right, Arch, just do your thing, and not enough creativity from Texas?
Well, it depends on the strength of the quarterback. Like, some guys really like shifting and motioning and gadget plays, but the problem is when you do all those things, you're creating problems for the defense, but you don't know necessarily how the defense is going to respond to what you do. So now there's uncertainty where with Peyton, he never had any movement. Right. And with Tom, we had very little movement. If anything, it looked like motion, but it was really a shift because they wanted certainty. So that's the trade-off. If you have a quarterback that you feel like is going to diagnose what he's seeing and then get you to the right spot, then you want stationary. But from a defensive perspective, that's a lot better because now you can move your guys around and you can disguise stuff and see whether or not you can fool them.
All right. San Jose State.
They have 3 straight teams. San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston State.
Sports Illustrated ranked the top 12 quarterbacks under 25. Jaden grabs the top spot. Spencer Rattler at 12. In between, we've got Brock at 2. CJ, Trevor, Drake May, who Coach not a fan of. Bo Nix, Caleb at 7. Bryce, my guy Cam Ward, Penix, JJ McCarthy, and then Spencer Rattler. Outside of Jaden, because he's got
It
a
was very nice of
graduated
you to
He is
path.
what he
result 12
is.
for the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, people love
Yeah,
the
that was
podcast.
good.
Yeah, I know. That was nice of you.
Trying to juice
Absolutely.
those numbers.
For those people listening, Kevin
Nick-
Wild's
Nick
wearing
just
a beautiful
subscribed.
aquamarine tie, little flowers on it.
Going left to right.
Salt
It's
and
Coach,
pepper hair.
Nick, me,
Yeah.
Brew.
Yeah, go ahead.
Outside of Jaden, which quarterback has the best year?
All right, I like a lot of these guys.
It's a third of the league.
I think I know who you guys are going with based on your predictions. Caleb is my guess. I broke it down to 4,
Gosh, bro.
but I'm gonna pick one. But Purdy, C.J. Stroud, Bo Nix, and Caleb.
You picked half of the list.
Because I got all those
You
guys
just
making the
eliminated
list.
Trevor
4 of
and
12.
Drake.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, all them. I think, look, CJ, I think they're going to win the division too. He's going to have a big year, but he's got a great receiver, I think, in Nico Collins. Knicks, I think, is going to have a good year. I got them in the playoffs, Coach, as a second best in that division. But I don't think his numbers are going to be as huge as the guy I'm going to pick. Caleb, I got them making the playoffs as a wild card, so he's going to have a good year. But I think he's got – I like what's around him. The guy that I think is going to emerge – is Brock Purdy.
Wow.
And that's saying a lot because he's already emerged.
Wow.
But here's the thing.
To figure out how you got there.
You know I like Ricky Pearsall.
Okay,
I
so
think
now we're
he's
back.
going to make Pearsall, Pearsall's going to have a good season, I believe. And I think Brock's going to get a lot of credit for that because he didn't play as much last year, so people didn't see him as much. Look, you got McCaffrey and then Brian Robinson and Kittle, but I'm talking about on the outside. I think people are going to look at their receivers on the outside before Ayuk gets back and say, they don't really have a lot, but they're going to be playing well, winning, and I think Purdy's going to put up numbers. So I think people are going to begin, not everybody, but a lot of people are going to begin to move away from, Purdy is actually good himself, not just with the
So your
Avengers.
answer is Purdy will
My
have
answer
the
is
best
Purdy.
year of the
Yeah.
I think that CJ will actually have the best year of all those guys, even better than Jaden. I think
better than Jaden.
I think
Wow.
Jaden fights the sophomore pressure.
Ooh.
I think Brock Purdy fights the new contract pressure. And I think Caleb, even though I am where I have him, he fights the bus pressure. So those guys are all fighting certain things that CJ's now not fighting because he's into year 3. So I think he'll have the most.
So here, I did a similar thing where I kind of took there's some guys just eliminated from it.
Like?
Bryce. I don't think Bryce has a chance to have the best year of those guys. Sorry, KW. I don't. But so Bo Nix and Purdy.
You eliminated them?
No. They're in the group. Okay. But I am worried as far as having the best year, worried about their receiver weapons. You know what I mean? I think the Niners have really good, I think they have great running back and can catch the ball, great with the tight end, but I'm worried about that piece of it. And for the Niners, not the Broncos, I'm worried about the offensive line a little bit, to be totally honest. There's Trent Williams, and then to me, a bunch of question marks. Trent Williams is old. For CJ, it's just the offensive line I'm worried about, plus the lack of a running game. Joe Mixon is, you know what I mean, out. They have Nick Chubb.
Right?
I know, but I don't.
He's old.
Nick Chubb post the catastrophic knee injury is not the same guy. I think Drake is in one hand tied behind his back this year. I don't love their weapons. I don't love their offensive line. We'll see.
Like their running backs?
Well, I was going to say we'll see about the rookie running back who I do. He was very good in preseason. He's a rookie running back, but I like Travion Henderson. Great is maybe a stretch. Great. So that. And to be totally honest, Trevor's broken my heart too much for me to put him as the top on this list for this. Caleb, Caleb has everything around him. And I know I'm setting him up to where if he doesn't do it, it's on him. But that's fair. I think he